What does a gas gauge and satisfaction have in common? And that's a really interesting question. As we've been diving into this series on satisfaction, we have found, as we've talked about Mick Jagger all the way to Solomon, that the world is craving satisfaction and we're not finding it. And I think the reason why God has given us satisfaction is much like a gas gauge. We know we're on empty, and it means that there's something wrong with us. See, there's this biblical term that they don't may not use the word satisfaction, they use the word peace. And the word peace means the world is as it should be. Now, in the Old Testament times, and we even see this today in a lot of cultures, they use peace as a way to say hi. When I lived in Africa, we would not say hi. We would say, do you have peace? In the Muslim world, you would say, assalamu alaikum, which is literally, is there peace? Do you have peace? The world and in biblical culture was obsessed with this concept of peace. Now, when we think of peace, we may think of war. There's the lack of war. There's peace in the Middle East. But the biblical concept and the greeting that the Jews would use and ask people is your life in balance? Is your life in harmony? How do we find peace? Now, in the ancient world, they believed that they would find peace when they would satisfy an angry God's thirst for whatever it was. So if it was, we need good crops, you would sacrifice this. Or my wife, we need to have a child, we'll sacrifice this. And they believed that they were odds with the gods. And if they could just manipulate the gods, they could be at peace and have everything that they need. Now, we may say as modern day Christians, well, we're not like that. But aren't we like that sometimes? Well, God, if I do this for you, you'll get me what I want. Or you'll even hear people go, well, I can't believe God's not giving this to me. I've done this, this, and this for him. We almost feel like he's this God that we can manipulate. Or you may not be a God follower. You may say, I don't believe in that. But you believe, well, if I just had the right job, or if I just got married, or if we just had kids, I would be content. Whatever your scratch or your itch is, we're all trying to find peace and satisfaction, but we're not finding it. And it should be pointing to the fact that there's something wrong. See, the Bible talks about that the world was originally created in perfect harmony. Everything had its place. But it had its place because God was the conductor of the orchestra. Remember the harmony? And as long as he was the one that was defining right and wrong, as long as he was the one conducting everything, we were good. But what mankind decided to do was say, we want to take control. I want to sing bass. No, I want to sing tenor. No, I want to do the 4/4. No, I want this. And we literally took the conductor out of God's hand and said, we want to be in control. And when that happened, we broke our peace with God. And when we broke our peace with God, we now have lost our peace with everyone. And so the Bible teaches that now you and God are at odds. You're no longer friends, you're enemies. In fact, you're at war against God because you want to do what you want to do. Now you may say, wait. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that spiritual fairy tale that there's a God in the universe. Fine, you don't need to believe that. But you would agree that there is something wrong with our world. Why is there injustice? Why is there these grievous things that the humanity does? So we may not agree at how it happened. We would all agree there's something wrong with this world. And also, we would probably disagree with what the solution is. And we get so passionate about our solution that we almost become zealots for it and we fight other people for it. And if you disagree with me, watch the election. Because we're going to see people going at each other's throats because you don't think my candidate can fix the world, the issues with our world. You know, and that's not new to us. The Bible talks about this character named Saul, who was so passionate about Judaism that he was literally taking Christians to jail and killing them because they believed that Jesus was the answer for their peace. And he knew it was Judaism. Well, one day when he was going to Damascus to kill people or to arrest them, Jesus shows up on the scene and proves, I am the King of Kings, follow me. And Paul starts to follow Jesus. And as he grows in his relationship with Jesus, he finds something he had never had before. Peace. Look at what he says. He goes, therefore, since we have been justified by faith, we have peace with God. The word justified means that you've been declared innocent. Remember, we're at odds with God, and God is the judge. He's the conductor. And God is saying, because of Jesus, we have access through faith into this grace. Here's the thing. We have broken the relationship with God when we decided to be our leader. God wants that relationship back, but there's something wrong. We're broken. Someone's got to fix the problem. God did it, even though he knew we couldn't. Listen to this. He said, even when we were enemies, we were reconciled to God through the death of his son. How much more than having been reconciled, we're going to be saved in this lifetime? You know what this teaches? God is gracious. The word grace is that it is something you don't deserve that God is giving you. God has given you peace when you don't deserve it. You want it your way. And God is saying, you can't have a relationship with me that way. But if I have my son come and die for your sin so that you can have access to me, that is grace. I'm going to overlook your sin. This concept of grace and peace so radically changed Paul's life that when he would greet people, he started adding grace to it because he realized, I cannot have peace if I don't have grace. And you know what we're going to find out? When God is the conductor again to your life because you've accepted his gift of grace, everything in your life is going to have harmony. And now, not only do you have peace with God, but now you can be an opportunity to have grace and peace with other people. Here's the cool thing about grace. Because you don't deserve it, you can't judge other people who don't have it. Your job is to point people to Jesus, who will give them the grace and peace that you needed as well. Guys, here's your go-do. The next time that you want to, find peace for yourself or judge someone because they're not doing it the right way, remind yourself that it is only because of God's grace that you can be at peace with God. And if that person wants to be at peace with God, they got to go the same way. God's grace. Guys, thank you so much. In our next lesson, we're going to talk about what does it look like in our everyday life when we're no longer at odds with the living God.